Hello, we are live. Hopefully, you can hear me, you can see me. Do let me know just if this is all working properly. Otherwise, I'll just be talking to myself, and that's not as much fun at all. Hello, Haytham. Really good to see you. Josh, Jan, it's really good to see you. And congratulations, you were telling me earlier, it's been 7 months and 3 days. Um, that's or 7 months and 3 days into your eighth month. That's really excellent. Hi, Vicky. Really good to see you as always. And Vicky, as I always do, I really need to take this time to just say thank you for all of the hard work that you do looking after us in the Finding Freedom Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Finding Freedom One, which I say all the time, but it's so true. I'm so proud of this group and everybody in it, and all of the amazing work you do to support one another. Amelia, really good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Defiant Sniper, hi mate, how are you? Hope you're doing well. So today it's the same as every live stream. If you have any questions for me, if there's anything you'd like me to chat about, do let me know. Give me something to talk about. I will ramble on, probably go on a million tangents, and hopefully eventually answer your question. Melika, watching you with your mum. Hi mum, and hi Melika. I hope you're both really doing excellently. Natasha, really good to see you. How is everybody? How are you enjoying your summer? It has been scorching hot here lately. Hi Scott, good to see you. Yeah, it has been scorching hot here. Like, I live in England. It tends to be rainy and cold almost all year long. So we've been having this heat wave, and I have been melting. I've learned a lot that I don't do good in the heat. I end up sweating and just feeling exhausted and not enjoying it at all. But it's been a cooler day today, so I'm really happy about that. And I'm in the middle of a 3-day weekend, so I got to just chill out yesterday. I watched some of the Olympics, and today I've just been chilling out even more. I've just been being really lazy, which is good sometimes, because life can just be constantly full on. There's always more stuff to do. There's always to-do lists and goals and things. And sometimes it's just nice to just hit that pause button and say, I'm just going to take some time out to relax and recover and recharge. And then by doing so, I have so much more energy to get back into things. Hopefully I've said hello to everyone who is in the group. If you're watching, I can only see that you're here if you comment in the live chat. But if you're here and not speaking, that's fine too. Hello, good to see you. So yeah, just talking about this subject of relaxing and yeah. Oh, you're in Nottingham. Yeah, isn't it? It's just been so warm. But I don't know how it is where you are, but it's been nice and cool today. There's a deep breath just for you. I'll get to a proper one later. Yeah, on the subject of relaxing and recharging, it's like I've said before about when we quit smoking. It can be such an intense thing that we go through, and we don't get that same kind of period of recovery that I think people, dealing with alcohol and addictions and things like that go through. Oftentimes, if you've hit rock bottom with an addiction and you're, getting sober or getting clean or whatever, there's normally a period of time where you're allowed to recover and recharge. And with quitting smoking, we don't get that. It's kind of like, yeah, you can quit smoking, but you just have to carry on with life going at its same usual frantic pace. And I think if there's any opportunity at all, just to say, do you know what, I'm just going to take some time to relax into this. Even if it's only for a day or for a morning or for an evening, to allow ourselves to be in recovery the same way that we would with any addiction, because nicotine is an addiction in and of itself. Hi Veronica, lovely to see you. Hi William, hope you're both doing very well. I'm so glad that you're all here. Especially because I messed up the dates of this live stream twice. I said last month, oh, it's the last Saturday of the month. The live streams are always the last Saturday of the month. And then I didn't realize that actually this isn't the last Saturday of the month. Next week is. And then I made the video yesterday and I clearly had no idea what day it was because I said tomorrow is Saturday, July 26th. And it isn't. It's the 24th. So I'm glad that you were able to see through my inane ramblings and still make it to the live stream. I really do enjoy doing this. We've been doing these streams for 4 or 5 months now, maybe a bit less. And it's been one of my favorite things to do since we started this YouTube channel. It's been, because a lot of doing the videos, it's me talking to you and you can leave me comments and things, but not really interact in real time. So this really gives me a chance to properly connect with you, catch up with you, and to not just talk about, me and how I'm doing, but to check in on all of you and how you're doing with your quit journeys, whether you started, whether you're still just thinking about quitting smoking, whether it's been absolutely ages since you quit and you're now just enjoying your life as a non-smoker. So do let me know, how you're all getting on as well. Hayden says, I think the act of smoking is more addictive than the nicotine. Absolutely. I think there is a lot to be said in that. Yeah, nicotine itself can be an addictive substance, but I think there is definitely more to it than oh, I know we cancelled the stream then, that's not good. There is definitely more to it than just the nicotine addiction. It's that psychological compulsion, that psychological mental and emotional thing of these are the situations in which I smoke, and that can be incredibly difficult. It's why I talk all the time about designing your new normal, developing new habits, thinking about your trigger situations, those cues that will make you think this is where I normally smoke. And if we always do what we've always done, we're always going to get what we've always got. So sometimes it's just about changing things. And I talk so much. I seem to talk about this every live stream about, changing my morning routine. So there was no coffee. I'd go and put a book in the kitchen. So if I was waiting for, dinner to cook or the kettle to boil or something like that, I had something to do that wasn't smoking. And I think that is the harder part of it, definitely. Defiant Sniper says, trying to lose weight on 10. Oh, yeah, that can be definitely a big challenge, I think, the weight thing. I think some of the weight gain that occurs when we quit smoking is not necessarily anything to do with us, but to do with the changes in our, when I say nothing to do with us, I mean nothing to do with any of our behaviors or anything that we're doing wrong. It's to do with smoking's impact on our metabolism and how it changes and how we metabolize the food we eat. And that can result in a small amount of weight gains, although some of it can be, reaching for those snacks and those sugary foods to help us through the live stream. But losing weight can be done, and it's just, it's approaching things in exactly the same way that we approached the quit attempt, or not even the attempt, the quit. Do it one day, one step, one decision at a time. We're approaching the kitchen for food. It's about, okay, what's the next decision that I need to make? Well, the next decision is, which food do I put in my mouth? Is it going to be this big bar of chocolate or this pizza, or is it going to be, some fresh vegetables or fruit or something that's going to help me get back on track with my my weight loss goals? Or the decision might be, well, I want to do some exercise because that's going to help me get my weight back under control. And the decision might not be, well, I'm going to go and run 12 miles because, speaking as somebody who runs 12 miles occasionally, only a crazy person does that. But it's about approaching it one day, one step at a time, and easing into things. I don't have to go to the gym for 5 hours. I can maybe just go to the gym even for 5 minutes, just to get started and build up and build up and build up. Hi, Sue. Sue says, loved your growth video. Oh, I'm so pleased. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed making the growth video yesterday, partly just because it's been so long since I just went outside and set up the camera and actually just recorded a video. I know I had that failed attempt with the GoPro thing a couple of weeks ago, but it was nice to be back outside and to have that fresh air and to just sit there and just go, and to just let all that fresh air fill my lungs and feel good. But it was also good to just reflect and think about where I've been and where I'm going and all of those things. Veronica says, don't be so hard on yourself, Chris. We enjoy your live hangouts. I'm so glad that you do. Yeah, I'm not being hard on myself, really. I'm kind of joking around. I did kind of get the dates confused, but I'm not gonna beat myself up about those things. Whereas once upon a time I would have done, there would have been a time in my life going, oh my goodness, I told everybody the wrong date and I messed this up. Nobody's going to show up and everyone's going to think I'm stupid and all of these things. And I don't have that anymore as a result of the growth that I talked about yesterday. Yeah, I can feel a bit like I messed up there, but it's okay. I was still quietly confident that at least somebody would turn up, and not give myself too hard of a time over things like that. Because it's like I've said so many times in the past, if I start beating myself up over things, especially really trivial things, then that's going to impact my self-esteem and the way that I feel about myself. That's going to make me feel worse. The worse I get, the closer I am to losing sight of what's important and recognizing, that I'm a good, worthwhile person, and my body deserves to be treated kindly, and I deserve to be treated kindly. Because eventually, if I keep beating myself up about things, I'm going to go, oh, well, I'm just a stupid, no good, whatever. I might as well just go and smoke or get drunk or just abuse my body and my mind and all of me, because I don't deserve the same health and happiness and freedom that everybody else does. And that's no longer the case for me. I am certainly no better than anybody else. I am certainly, nothing out of the ordinary. It's just that I am as worthy as anybody else. And that means that I do a much better job of treating myself kindly. Most of the time, I can still get caught up in like bits of talking badly to myself will slip out. Like, I'll go into a room to get something, get distracted, come back into the other room and realize, oh, I didn't pick up the thing that I wanted to get. And then out of my mouth, like, part of my language here, out of my mouth will go, oh, you dickhead. And then I have to go back and get the thing. But what I'm better at these days is actually stopping myself and saying, no, Chris, no, you're not. You're not that. You literally just got distracted. And it takes time. These things don't come overnight. It's not like I woke up one morning and suddenly had everything figured out. It's been a period of growth, and it's been a period of, getting things right a lot of the time, occasionally making mistakes, learning from those mistakes, putting things into action to make sure those mistakes don't happen again, and continuing to grow. Hi, Sandy. It's really good to see you. No need to apologize. We're here for at least another 45 minutes, so there's plenty of time. Absolutely plenty of time. So yeah. So as I said earlier, do let me know in the live chat how you're all getting on with your journeys. If there is anything that you would like me to talk about or any questions for me, and I'll get to those. Otherwise, I will just continue to talk, which I'm quite good at. So I was thinking yesterday about when I finished making the growth video, I was thinking about how life isn't this smooth upwards trajectory. Like even when we hit rock bottom, even when we decide, okay, I'm going to make a big positive change here and I'm going to start to grow and get better. I'm going to quit smoking, I'm going to stop drinking, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to lose weight. It isn't necessarily the case that we make this decision and from then on in, everything is easy and life just goes up and up and up and up and up and up. Sometimes it's kind of like we go up and then there's a dip and then we go up again and there's a dip and we go up again. And I think that's important. It's not necessarily pleasant to go into those dips when there are challenges and there are struggles and there are times when we're not doing as well as others. But I also think those periods are important for our growth. It gives us a time to reflect on what's been working and what hasn't. And to think, okay, I'm going to do more of what works and do less, or in fact, none at all of what isn't. Hi, Jojo. Lovely to see you. How are you doing? It's really nice that you're here with us. I'm just catching up on some of your comments. William says, put £35 on when you quit. And since then, you're back to normal. That's such good news. I'm so glad that you've said that, William, because that does prove that this weight thing can be tackled. It's not necessarily a pleasant thing to put the weight on, but it can be overcome. One of the very first videos that I made, well, maybe not one of the very first, but one of my very early videos that I made, I was talking about a plane, when an airplane goes on its journey, and it might set its final destination, but it doesn't necessarily stay on the correct course all the way through. It's constantly making these little adjustments to get back to, it might go off course and make an adjustment, go off course and make an adjustment. And that's kind of how I see the weight thing. Like I think when we quit smoking, the overall goal isn't necessarily to just take your time, Vicky, no problem. The overall goal isn't just to quit smoking and not have cigarettes. The overall goal tends to be a healthier person. So we set that course and then we quit smoking and then the weight comes on and we have to correct course again. And like I was saying about that trajectory, I think that's kind of very similar. It's just about continuing to look at where we are and making progress. I'm going to read William's comment first and then your question, Sandy. William said, I went to a baseball game last week with my his friend, 100% not smoking. It's nice not to worry about that anymore. Isn't it just? It's nice to go to these events and these occasions or to anywhere where there isn't cigarettes or where cigarettes aren't allowed and to not have to worry about it. I went on holiday a few weeks ago, as you know, why there are no videos, and I flew down to the other side of the country really, and it was really nice to be in the airport and not have to think about, okay, where's the smoking place? How long have I got? Can I get cigarettes in before I have to go and get my flight? And I remember doing that. I remember sometimes when I've been over in the United States and I was still a very heavy smoker. And I always remember one time there was no place to smoke and I'd already gone through security and I made the stupid decision to leave the airport entirely just so I could have a cigarette and had to go through security again and all the hassle and drama of that. And I'm just thinking, just life is so much easier in so many ways that we don't even think about in the early days of quitting. Okay, Sandy, let me read your question. Have low self-image and slight depression for decades. Is it realistic for me to think that quitting might help? Short answer is yes. Or should I prepare for lower levels of, lower depression levels? I absolutely think it is genuinely realistic to think that quitting might help. If you haven't already seen it, Sandy, I did make a video a couple of months ago about the links between smoking and depression. And it's been a while since I've thought about this, but if I remember rightly, so what happens is there's kind of two things going on. And there's one thing that people who are, have a predisposition towards depression are more likely to smoke, but there's also a thing that people who smoke are more likely to suffer with depression. And the more we smoke, the more depression we get. And it's to do with the neurotransmitters, the dopamine in our brain. When we smoke regularly, we get these chemicals, and the brain starts to say, well, if I'm getting this from an external source, I don't need to be producing as much dopamine of my own, so I can just take these cigarettes instead. So then sometimes what can happen is when we quit smoking, our own dopamine production is switched off, and we're not getting the external stuff. So yes, sometimes we can sink into a deeper depression. What then? Sorry, let me slow down. What then happens is that the brain starts to go, hang on, there's no chemicals coming from anywhere here. We need to go and turn the dopamine factory back on and get it going again. And we recover from that. And life starts to get better, and our depression does lift. To talk about my own personal experiences, I've suffered or dealt with depression for a very long time. From it, the first time I experienced anything that I would even marginally class as depression was when I left school at 16, and it's kind of followed me intermittently over the years. Had some quite dark periods, and I think the worst period that I ever had, the period that I've talked about loads in these videos, when I couldn't get off my couch and the curtains were drawn all the time, that was about, I want to say 4 or 5 months after I quit smoking, and it was really dark and scary. And I really don't say that to put you off. What I'm saying it for is, I recovered from that, and ever since then, anytime, I haven't been perfectly 100% happy ever since I quit smoking, which kind of may sound like contradictory given that my book is called Quit Smoking and Be Happy, but what I have found is that whenever my mental health is off, it is nowhere near as bad as it used to be when I was smoking and when I first quit smoking. I can handle anything today. Like I said, if I do experience bouts of depression, they tend to last for days rather than weeks or months, and they tend to be very, very less severe than they used to be. So yeah, coming all the way back, and I'm saying this is my experience. I'm not necessarily saying that, oh yeah, you're definitely going to get worse and then get better. You may not, but what I will say is that it is definitely going to help, because there is a lot. Again, if you watch the video that I made when I talked about the links between depression and smoking, there is a lot of evidence there that tells us that smoking actually makes depression worse, and the same with things like anxiety. We might rely on our cigarettes as a form of like self-medication when we're depressed, but actually it's doing us much more harm than good. So and I know as well, I think I've talked about this before, people think, well, what I'll do is I'll just get my depression sorted out and then I'll quit smoking, when actually quitting smoking can be a very, very good first step to getting that depression sorted out and taken care of for good. Hi Ben, lovely to see you. Hope Cape Town is treating you very kindly and that the weather is nice. Hopefully it's life is being good to you. Let me read Jan's comment. The breathing I still use when I get stressed or just to relax. It's great. Oh yeah, breathing, any kind of breathing technique will work wonders. You know, I still just enjoy doing that. You know, every now and again in my day-to-day life, I'll just stop and take that one deep breath, and it's like hitting a tiny pause on whatever is going on, and it allows me to refresh and center again. I don't know if you've noticed, but sometimes when I do those breaths in my videos, it's because I find myself talking very, very quickly, and I'm going, okay, we've got to quit smoking, we've got to do this, and and as I'm talking, I'm like getting myself worked up, but only because I'm really excited about and really passionate about what I'm talking about. But to be able to just stop and go, you know, it gives me that. After that, I'll start to slow down again, you know, speak at a much more normal speed, you know. And when I've done that, I can also, what's more important is I can think a bit more clearly. My other favorite breathing technique that I don't use as often, but it is still really helpful. It's called the 4-4-4 technique. It's breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, hold for 4, um, and then breathe in again and repeat. I attended a CPD course for my hypnotherapy months ago now, actually, and the lady was very clever, and she actually explained to me that that's not the most helpful breathing technique. It still works for me, but what she was saying is it actually benefits to breathe out for longer than you breathe in. So if you're breathing in for 7, it's breathe out for 11, or if it's breathing for 4, it's maybe breathe out for 7. Um, I would like to eventually bring that into my videos as well, even if it's just a very quick video. Here's how that's done. But it's one of those things that I really want to make sure I fully understood what she was telling me before I pass it on to you. Sensei, this is exactly what you needed to hear. Thank you. You are very welcome. I really do hope, you know, that stuff on depression was helpful, Sandy. Like I said, I've done a lot. I've done, I think, 2 videos specifically about smoking and depression, but I've also done a lot of stuff on mental health as well. So if those are helpful to you, you can just go to my channel, look, though, type in depression, or, you know, stuff will come up. Albert, well, huge hug. Oh, big hugs to you, Albert. Watching you for years, in the top 3 quitting coaches globally. I will take that as a compliment. I really will. I know I've forgotten what's the guy's name? I can't remember the guy. It's just completely gone off my head. But there's the other guy that I know a lot of people watching. Yeah, he's got some really good stuff. And there's the lady with that. I've only started seeing her stuff recently. Is it the CBQ method, something like that? I haven't actually watched much of her stuff yet, but from what I hear, she's doing a lot of really good things to help people. So that can only be a good thing, I think. No, not Alan Carr. He's a guy on YouTube. Why can't I remember? One of you will know him. He's an older guy. I feel really bad about this. I'm just having a complete mental block on it. I can see his face in front of me. If I remember, it'll probably come back to me when I'm like half asleep later or something. Hi Deb, how are you doing? So good, so glad you could make it. How are you? It's really bothering me that I can't remember this guy's name. I'm gonna have to Google it. Oh, never mind. Excellent. Still smoke free. That's the most important thing. Well, it is for us and what we're talking about here. Joel, that's the guy. Joel. Yes. I had a total mental block on his name. But I think he's done some good stuff as well. Um, yeah, so I think the more stuff, because the fundamental thing that drives me and that is central to everything that I put out on quitting smoking is that there is no one single right method. There is no one single universally easy way to do this. What works for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for that guy over there, and so on. So I do think it's really good to have different people giving a different perspective, and I think obviously you're going to find some similarities, and there's going to be some stuff that is, um, the same everywhere. Mainly being don't smoke. But yeah, I like that there are different perspectives. And there may be some people who have watched a couple of my videos and nothing that I say resonates with them. But then they go and watch Joel, or they go and watch the CBQ lady, um, and something that she says absolutely clicks, and that's fine with me. I'm not here to say I've got all this figured out and here's what you do, and mine is the only right way, because I don't think it is. I don't necessarily have a way to quit smoking other than what I've put out there. My way to quit smoking is to find those things that work for you. I do think that there are certain central things that are definitely going to make it easier, like properly planning and preparing, like like I said at the start of this, identifying those triggers and those cues, and redeveloping new habits, a new normal, and taking it one day, one step, one decision at a time. Deb, smoke free but not alcohol free. I've spoke to you in the comments before, haven't I, Deb? And we've talked about this. I am confident that when you're ready, you will absolutely get this. I think if you can quit smoking, you can definitely quit drinking if you want to. I don't think that's not me saying that everybody has to not drink. But if alcohol is disrupting your life in some way, and it is something that you want to give up, then everything that we've done on our quit smoking journeys is only going to help us with those things. So we'll carry on for about another 25 minutes today. Is that good with everyone? I'm just going to check the calendar while there's a lull here and see when the next live stream will be. Okay, the last Saturday in August is definitely the last Saturday in August is definitely Saturday, August the 28th. So I'll say the next live stream, that's when the next live stream is going to be. 6:30 p.m. UK time, and we'll do this all over again. Not that I'm going anywhere yet, just it seems like a good time to say, now's when the next one's going to be. I'm trying, can't help that. Have a drink. Absolutely. Like I said, if it's causing, I think there's a difference between I like a drink on occasion and it's nice and it's sociable or whatever the case may be, and worrying and being, oh my goodness, I keep getting hammered and it's ruining my life, and it's kind of differentiating between the two, and if it is causing problems, then there are steps towards figuring out how to either manage it or quit completely, whilst whilst getting rid of that sense of, oh, but I really like this and I don't want to get rid of it. Hi Chris, when I quit smoking a few hours before the third day, can't stand the craving anymore and end up buying cigs. In my experience, your experience, how long were those days when you had so much difficulty? Okay. Are you asking me how long, when you say how long were the days, do you mean how long did that period last for? Um, Definitely beyond the third day for me. I think within 1 or 2 weeks, things started to get a little easier. Within a few months, it started to get easier still. And then by the end of the year, it was like smoking was just no longer a part of my life anymore. But I do absolutely understand that thing of, okay, these cravings are just so intense and I can't cope anymore and I need to go and buy cigarettes. And then you buy the cigarettes and go, oh no, what have I done? I told myself I wasn't going to do this, and here I am with a cigarette in my hand. Um, and the cravings can get intense. But the thing with cravings is they don't last. These cigarette cravings that we get are comparatively very small. Some will last 5 minutes, some will last, most may last no more than 20 minutes, but it's not necessarily the time that they last, it's the intensity. And especially if we just get rid of one and then it comes back again later. And again, it's just coming down to that next decision that we make. Okay, I cannot stand this feeling right now. It is intense. It is driving me nuts. I need to do something. But then it's like, well, I have options at my disposal. And one thing that I can do is go and get a cigarette. Another thing that I can do is go for a walk, or do some exercise, or phone a friend. I think that can be really helpful. If we're just talking to another human being, it can just, distract us enough, that we're just completely not focused on cigarettes. But to answer the question, which again I tend to go off on tangents, but if it's about how long did that last, I think it was the first week was the most difficult. The second week started easing off, and then after that it was like, the further I got, the easier it got. There were still bumps in the road, there were still times when I was tempted, but eventually, we transitioned from being people who are quitting smoking to ex-smokers to non-smokers. And I do think there is a difference between ex-smokers and non-smokers. I think when we're thinking of ourselves as ex-smokers, we're still sort of defining ourselves by our relationship to cigarettes. And still going, well, because when we smoke, it's like, I am a smoker. This means I smoke. This means I have this relationship with cigarettes, where it's kind of defined on the fact that I put these things in my mouth and poison myself. Then in our early quits, we go from being quitters to, ex-smokers, where it's like, it's still very much on our minds that we used to smoke. We're still very much aware of what we've done. What we've done by quitting smoking. We're still very much aware that we had this relationship with cigarettes. And then, and when we're aware of that, that can make it difficult, because it's, if we reach stressful situations or triggers or anything like that, then it's very tempting to go back into that mindset of, I used to smoke here, and a smoke would be so easy to do. And, but we pass through that and become non-smokers. And when I say non-smoker, I mean the same as somebody who has never smoked. Somebody who has never smoked never gets cigarette cravings. Somebody who has never smoked is never tempted to respond to stress with a cigarette, because it would make absolutely no sense. The cravings don't last. Is it the same with drink? Crept up on me. I only drank at weekends. Now I drink every day. So forth. Yes, I think it is. I'm not sure if cravings for a drink last the same amount of time, but they are definitely temporary. They don't, I can remember getting sober myself and really having this intense feeling of, oh, I just need to put alcohol in me, you know, and then it passes. It might come back, but then it passes again. And I really do feel for you, Deb, because I have absolutely been exactly where you're at. Like I said before, I have absolute faith that you can do this. You know, one day, one step, one decision at a time. You know, it might not be pleasant, might not be comfortable. It's not always easy, but it is always worth it. Now, the thing with cravings that always kills me is that I know the longer I go without a cigarette, the better the nicotine high will feel afterwards. Like taking a 16-hour flight and lighting up on arrival. Yeah, yeah, I can totally relate to that. It makes a lot of sense. I've worked when I've been doing the one-to-one quit smoking support sessions. I've worked with a few people who say, you know, that's the challenge for them is you go so long and then a cigarette starts to feel good again. You know, so sometimes some people are like, well, I'll quit and then it'll feel good, and they'll quit again, it'll feel good. But it's about this sense of it being, you know, a very temporary high, right? You know, how long does that last? Like a couple of minutes tops, compared to, you know, the potential lifetime of damage that those cigarettes do, compared to the lifetime of freedom and health and happiness that we could have if we didn't smoke that cigarette. You know, it's like, yeah, you can. You know, you can not smoke for a few days and then get a few minutes of that high. You know, so is that worth the trade-off? Are you willing to trade all of the negative health all of the ways that cigarettes impact our health badly? Are you willing to trade all of that? Are you willing to trade all the growth and progress you've made for a couple of minutes? Oh, Dev, I'm so sorry to hear about your dog. Yeah, I remember one of our family dogs passed away years ago now, and it was very upsetting. 44 Goldilocks, 2 months, 2 weeks. Yippee! That is such good news. I am so pleased for you. Please do keep up the excellent work. Things are only going to get better and better and better from here on in. Again, I think if you've only just got here, Goldilocks, you might have missed me saying that life isn't always this upward trajectory. There may be bumps in the road. You may get knocked off course. You may not always feel great. But I will take the bumps in the road that I have today. Used to be me at my very best, if that makes sense. When I think I'm not doing bad, when I think I'm not doing well now, if I reflect on it, I think actually at one point in life this was as good as it got. So things can only get better from here on in. Sue, I never realised how much I've grown. I kept a journal, very eye-opening, from the first entry to today. My goal to go ziplining. Excellent. Yes, okay. 2 things on that, Sue. One thing I just want to say is that go ziplining. It is awesome. I had a chance to do it. It was on my bucket list, actually, ziplining. And we went on this course that I had to do when I was doing my counselling training. We went away for the weekend to Wales. This like action adventure place, and we did some activities and lots of personal growth and self-development work, and I got to go ziplining, and it was so much fun. If you remind me, I'll post the video on my Facebook page or something later on, because it was great fun. But more importantly, on the subject of journaling, absolutely, I have found journaling to be one of the best things that I've ever done. I used to journal when I was like in my teens, but that tended to just be about all the girls that I liked, and wasn't there wasn't much substance to it. But then as I got older, I definitely found that keeping a journal can help in so many ways, not just in the sense of being able to process what's going on right now for me, but like you say, every now and again you can go back to those journals and look through them and go, wow, I really have come so far. Sometimes I'll read old journals and I'll see like an issue I was having at the time, and now I'm like, I can't believe that was even a problem, and how good it is to have overcome that, and how good it is to recognize this journey that we've been on. I remember reading like a nice quote somewhere once, and it said, day by day, day by day, you don't always recognize the progress you're making, but if you keep going step by step, eventually you'll look back and realize how far you've come. And I love that, and I still think it's true. Um, okay, so Jan says, not sure they're helping up with drinking, but I do know that the breathing Chris taught would stop me each time I was going to the store for cigarettes. Yeah, absolutely. Those breathing techniques can help with all kinds of things. And I think definitely if you're in that mindset of I'm really craving a drink or a cigarette, to stop and practice some breathing techniques. Somewhere on my YouTube channel, there will be a technique called the grounding technique, the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can touch, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. I think I've got that right, in the right order. And sometimes doing that, this grounding technique can be really helpful for just getting out of your own head for a minute, getting out of this emotional thinking and this sense of, oh my God, I need to do something, and just grounding and just being for a moment. It can really help change your perspective. I'm going to read Deb's comment first, and then I'll get to this next question here. Who were the girls you looked at you liked, Chris? Just girls. Like I said, I wrote this when I was like, my first journaling experiences were when I was in high school, so it was literally just about girls in my class or who lived in my neighborhood, and I thought they were nice. And I tended to fall in love, like head over heels in love, with any girl that would pay me any attention, mainly because I did have a lot of low self-esteem back then. So it was like, oh, I love this person. And anyway, then as I got older, my journaling started to get a bit more serious, and was more self-reflective, and more just, this person's nice. Me having so many problems with your mum's mental stability, and still, in spite of it, you didn't relapse. You give me more. I'm so sorry to hear about your mum, and I will definitely keep you in my thoughts, and really hope that she gets well, or that she gets the help that she needs. Well done to you for being able to be there for her and support her, and even more well done for getting through what sounds like a very difficult time without a relapse. This is going to hold you personally, do so well for you later in life when other things happen. Stuff that may not be as challenging as this, but there may come a time when you can think, wow, do you remember when my mum was really struggling and I was there for her and I didn't relapse? And that took strength, and that gave me strength, and that gave me the chance to see that because I got through that, I can get through absolutely anything. I still do that today, if I'm faced with a challenge, and I think, man, I quit smoking, and it was hard, like very, very hard, but I did it, and because of that, I can do anything. And the same applies in the reverse, I think whether or not quitting smoking is the hardest thing you've ever done, it is possible to say, okay, well, this is challenging, but at some point in my life, there was a really big challenge. There was the hardest thing I ever had to get through in my life. And I got through that. And because I got through that, it has shown me that I am capable of getting through the hardest things in my life. I have a 100% success rate of getting through my challenges. I have a 100% success rate of getting to where I want to be in life. I'll definitely pray for your mum and hope she gets she makes a full recovery, and that you're coping with that as well. You know, I'll not just think about your mum, but also think about you and how she's doing. Um, you know, think about you, sorry, and how you're coping with it, and that you stay strong. Oh, thank you so much, Dan. It's been a lot of fun today. We've covered a lot of ground. I will say one thing to you. Um, Doing these live streams has really helped my confidence in terms of the other videos and in general. Um, you know, I've said before, normally when I make videos, I will get my notebook out, and I don't like to script, but I make sure I've got notes for everything I want to cover. And I don't do that at all for this. You know, I come into this with absolutely nothing. You know, and kind of rely on you to sort of steer the conversation, and you know, you tell me what to talk about rather than me telling you what I think is important. And because the more I've done this, the more confident I've got in making my normal YouTube videos, and not relying so heavily on notes, and trusting in myself that what I need to say and what's important for me to say is here within me, and it will come out in the right time. Do I ever have a beer? No, not anymore. Not anymore. I think those days have passed for me, and I'm okay with that. I enjoy the live streams too. Welcome back, Vicky. I didn't really. I saw you say be right back before, and I don't know if you've only just got back or you've been here for a while, but welcome back. Um, Sandy says, like to play the videos non-stop when house cleaning. Just listening and something always resonates for you. Oh, that's so nice. I'm really glad that you know something resonates you. Will you ever come round and see me in the pub? If you come round here, you can come round here and have a cup of tea instead. Hi, Coffee and Tattoos. Good to see you. We are wrapping up. We've only got a few minutes left now, but I'm so glad that you could check in. Yeah, but no, you're very unlikely to see me in the pub unless there is like something, unless I have a reason to go to the pub. You know, I'm actually going out tomorrow. It's my brother's birthday, so we're going out for a meal, and I'm sure there will be alcohol, but I don't have to drink that alcohol. I'll probably have a glass of water. I did go out when the football was on. Um, I did go out with friends and we watched the game. But again, just because there's drinking doesn't mean I have to drink it. You know, I can go out to places today and not be tempted and not have to get messed up and just enjoy myself. So much. Oh, Amelia, that's so sweet. I'm so glad that you found the videos helpful, and so glad that you found the channel helpful. But please don't ever worry about letting me down or disappointing me or things like that. I absolutely understand how tough this can be. You know, so if something does happen, you know, I'd rather you come and say, Chris, you know, I was doing so well, and then something happens, and I want to get back on track. Then, you know, then for you to go away and go, oh no, I can't tell Chris because you know, we're all human. I'm human, and you know, I absolutely understand how we can fall back and then have to start again. Smoking for almost 14 years, I feel that you can't quit. Try and try and try, and just yeah, keep trying. As I've said before, if we always do what we've always done, we'll always get what we've always got. So we keep trying the same thing over and over and over, and over and over and over again, and it's not working. Maybe it's time to try something else. You know, if we've tried nicotine replacement therapy and it hasn't helped, maybe it's time to try Champix or cold turkey. If we tried cold turkey, maybe it's time to try nicotine replacement therapy. if we've tried distracting ourselves with one thing. Oh, bye Sandy, so glad you could come and hang out today. You know, tried distracting ourselves with one thing and it's not worked. Maybe it's time to try something else. If we find that we're always triggered by a certain thing, it's about, well, how can I stop this thing from being an issue? Natasha said, love the live streams. Hope I will keep doing them. Now that we've got into this good habit of doing them at the end of every month, I have no reason to not do this anymore. As long as you all still want to come and spend some time with me, I love this. You know, I look forward to it. Pretty much from one live stream to the next, I get excited about this, so I'll continue to do it. Never a good idea to put yourself in a position where you get tempted. Absolutely. Like I said, you know, I can go and watch the football. Oh, bye, Deb. I'm so glad that you could come and hang out with us. You know, I went and watched the football. I'll go out for a meal tomorrow, but I'm surrounded by good people who wouldn't want to see me come to any harm in the first place. You know, I've got a good head on my shoulders. If I was off, if my head was off and I wasn't feeling right, I wouldn't go and put myself in those situations. Is the feeling spikes of rage during a craving when I try to quit? So definitely need something to keep you in balance. Yeah, those rage, those feelings of intensity and like displaced aggression almost, isn't it? Because we tend to lash out at people, and really it's the cravings and the intensity themselves that we actually want to lash out at. Yeah, so I can absolutely get that. I did make a video a couple of years ago now about anger. Well, I made a couple of videos about anger and rage and how to not lash out at people. Coffee and tattoos. If you haven't already seen them, if you go onto my YouTube channel, you type in things like anger or how to stop lashing out. I covered this in a lot of depth there. Sue says, thank you for all you do. Looking forward to your next video and live stream. Thank you so much, Sue. Yes, the next live, for those of you who missed it, the next live stream will be Saturday. What did I say? Saturday, August 28th. That will be 6:30 p.m. UK time again. I'll get a video made in a couple of weeks. Not a video. I'll get a link set up in a couple of weeks. It'll be in Finding Freedom. I'll mention it in all of the videos that I make, you know, so that you never have to wonder when it's going to happen or how you can find it. Tammy, coming in late, I want to thank you for all you do. Your success stories, very inspiring. Your videos are so helpful. I love reading things like that. It makes me feel good and makes me feel like this is worthwhile doing. You know, it's not so much about, yes, aren't I fabulous? You know, it's about something that I'm saying is resonating with people and you are finding it helpful. Deb, I saw that. Sexercise, yes. Never underestimate the dopamine and the chemicals that can come from, yeah, a nice bit of rolling around in the naked. Yeah, so as I was saying, I'm so glad that you've all found something helpful with this. Would it help to take a week or two off from life and stay home or do whatever I need to do to get through cravings for 2 weeks? Honestly, I will say if you have those 2 weeks, take them, use them as a chance to reboot, but also know at the same time that eventually normal life is going to come back, you know, and you are going to have to prepare to live out in the real world. But yeah, I think there can be some recovery time. Dex. Okay, so I think I'm not going to be getting my kit off at all. I might take this off because it's hot, but that's it. I'll just finish answering these last couple of comments. Thank you for keep watching your videos every day and would be lost without it. Breathing, person. Thank you so much, Jan. I'm so glad. I am so glad that you found, especially that you found those breathing exercises helpful. Hi Chris, thank you for almost 10 months of the cigarettes. I can't be more proud. Still dealing with anger management, but seeing a therapist and she's helping. Rania, that's excellent news. Yes, going to therapy can be an absolute game changer. It really can. Okay, guys. If there's nothing else, I think this seems like a good place to wrap it up for this month. I will say again, thank you all so much for coming to hang out with me today. I've got loads more videos in the pipeline. I just need to get together. One thing I would ask of you, if any of you have bought the book, especially from Amazon, and you enjoyed it and you're able to go on Amazon and leave me a short review of how you found it, that really does help me, with growing the book and getting it out there. So that's my only favor to ask of you. Other than that, just a reminder, our group is facebook.com/group/findingfreedom1. There's such a wonderful community on there, and people starting to make their own videos, which I'm getting jealous because they're better than mine. People supporting each other at all stages of their quit, celebrating the highs, getting each other through the lows. It's such a wonderful community to be part of, and I'm very, very proud of it. Other than that, I will say I will see you on Saturday, August 28th. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. You too, Vicky. And again, Vicky, thank you for all that you do. Vicky's our half of the. What am I trying to say? Vicky is our Finding Freedom moderator and does a good job of making sure we're all being behaved. So thanks very much. I will see you all next month, but I'll also see you in my next video later in the week. Okay, thanks again. See you.